If you watch the shorts, you'll know that I've taken the gearbox apart. It's not a 5-minute job by all means, but this tractor here, we were moving porta cabins. I unloaded a porta cabin, and then when I went to turn away, I needed to reverse to get out from where I was. When I put it in reverse, I was stuck in reverse. But I could use all first, second, third, and fourth. I just couldn't get out of reverse and into high range and all that lot with the high-low lever. Now this is what they refer to as a column change gear lever, and that's the lot that goes up there. And to add insult to injury on this is the gear lever system here. Now basically what it is, this is your first, second, third, fourth. Well, I had this apart because I tightened this up so it's nice and snug. I welded up the hole and tightened that up, and then this is your high range and low range. So you go down and across for high, forward for high, but you can't come straight back for reverse. You've got to go up into low range, then back into reverse, and then you can go forwards for low range. So you're always reversing in low range. Not a biggie. The downside to this is, and this is only a downside, that it's a lot of little things happening inside the gearbox. Now these are synchro-mesh gearboxes, so you can change gear while driving, but that's the bottom of your gearbox. So these two here do your high-low select and your reverse. So one will go, you'll go into one, and that'll do your high range, which I'm pretty sure is the bottom one down there, because you push that down, so it would be the bottom one, which would be your high range, and then the top one is your low range. And then that goes forwards and backwards, which selects a gear forwards and reverse. Simple. This one here does your first, second, third, and fourth, and that's your safety start switch. Luckily for me, I did not have that connected. If I did have that connected, I wouldn't have been able to reverse at home, and I would have had a bugger of a job. I would have to bypass it. It is there to be connected, but doing it the way I'm doing it, by keeping the cab on, it is very, very hard to try and get those wires to join up. Plus, if you look at the connections, they're not in the best condition. So we just forgetting about them for now. So I think I've fixed it, but I think the cause of the problem is because of this wearing out here. I think these are slightly worn. I think maybe it jumped, because when I took this off, this was kinked a bit, and I'm wondering if I sat down in between one of them. Not 100% certain, but just it's one of those things that you just can't judge until hand. But anyways, that rod there is also the rod that needs replacing for the high select, why it jumps out of high. But anyway, we have her apart. I'm not going to bother putting it together just yet, because we had an issue when we were taking it apart. So there is little grub screws that go into here, that goes on the top of the gearbox that holds it in place. One of them dang on broke on me. Now my good uncle, which he is a really good uncle of mine, he went and had a look to see if he could find one. But because they're Imperial, I'll show you the grub screw in a sec. We just want to cover this gearbox up so we don't have any shite in there. I will put a video of the short onto the end of this video, so you can watch me taking the cover off, and then you'll have a better look. And then you can sort of make your own decisions and own theories. Now, I do like these gearboxes, don't get me wrong, they're nice gearboxes and they're not bad. To a certain extent. But sadly, I'm going to have to let you view at the front for a second. Actually, I'll just pause this for a sec and then... So, I like them because they're synchro meshed. I don't like them because when you go into first, you actually hit the hand throttle, so you can't use a hand throttle on first. So the little grub screw we broke is this little fella. It has an Allen key end on the end of it. And they don't have to be very tight, but this does take all the torque of you moving that lever and lifting it up and down. Sadly, when I went to undo one of the nuts, I ended up with that top piece and it broke off. So what we're thinking of doing is drilling out those threads and putting them to metric and making some up with some nuts on the top, nuts on the bottom, and then Loctiting it that way. Is our theory. But anyways, that's me done for the day. I spent some time sorting out the radiator for the house. And you know what's really gutting when you do something like that is when you do the job and find out that you don't have any of the Hep 2O inserts to connect the radiator. So I'm 8 Hep 2O short, fitting short from having an extra radiator in the house. Yeah. So we got it stripped. We had to bodge job this bolt here. It's a little grub screw. Oh, Mike's going to find one. Next job is to remove that hydraulic line. So when you put these together, this shaft, when you go to put it in, will always drop down and miss where it needs to go. So what you do is you put a cable tie around there, and the friction of the cable tie just holds it in place enough so you can get it in place. And then we've got to undo all these bolts around here, and then lift the top cover off and then see what damage is inside. So I've already undone the hydraulic line. I've already blew air around this. I've literally just undone all the bolts, and now we're about to lift it off and see what we find underneath. Here we go. And then you just do this, down under there, lift this up as high as you can, like so. Are you ready? There it goes. So, after watching that bit about us taking the cover off, I've actually had a bit of a break because it snowed like hell and the weather was really rough, and it turns out all these gaps in this building, which you can't see because of the lights, snow drifts in. So anyways, so what you do is you, I don't know if you can see, you line that fork up there on that bit so it's neat in the center, so either one of these can't turn, and then you hold that in place by wrapping a cable tie around that bit there, that black cable tie, and then holds that in place. Now for the other one, which goes into the selector over there to do your gears, you sort of just got to sit there and fiddle with it. So we're going to get you set up, and then we're going to see if we can do it. But I'll probably have to set the phone so it's... I don't know if this is going to work. Using my phone. And then basically it's just the reverse process of putting it in, or taking it out, to putting it back in. Apart from, you just got to get all those little gear levers to line up. So what I tend to do is sit it like this. And then with my torch, which is going flat. I'm not saying you'll get this first time round, and I'm not saying you won't.
You melt the ice behind my stone cold eyes. I turn to ashes, but only just sometimes. Inhale your smoke, but you still act surprised. It's not my fault when we end up capsized. You call me crazy now, but you don't understand. I'm calling out to you. Can you hear a thing? 'Cause you lit the match that ignites the flame. I'm the TNT, but you're the spark to blame. And it's fire, burning holes inside my brain. Feel the fire.
Like I said, the last thing you want is for shit to go wrong. So doing something like this, I highly recommend just take your time and don't rush, because if you do, it's normally when mistakes get made. And something like this, especially here, we can't go to a nearest scrapyard and just fly apart. So it's better for us to take our time. Now there is times where we do go rip, check, tear, and we'll just regret what we did, but I think that's all in place. But I think what we're going to do is we'll tighten this down. We'll then put the gear lever system on, maybe, and then just give her a try.
I turn to ash.
Now we'll bring you over here so we can connect up the throttle, which is actually really simple. So connect up the throttle linkage. Oh, wait a minute, let me take a glove off. I think I can do this with one hand. Well, we're about to find out anyway. I took the wrong glove off, so let's take the right glove off so I don't get dirt all over my phone. Oh, actually I could just leave that there. There we go. Right, so this here is your hand throttle. And your hand throttle works this bit here. So you have your foot throttle, vroom, vroom, vroom. And then when you want your hand throttle, you can push this. You don't get much travel in the hand throttle side of things. But it will take you up to 1800 RPM or whatever you need. So I'm guessing that's more than sufficient. I think that's good. Oh, nope. I got another link. Hey. Yeah, there. And then this here is meant to clip on, but it's probably a bit worn over the years, so it just sits on there. And then that's your throttle now connected, so that's your hand throttle, to set where you want the hand throttle. And then you got your foot throttle, which gear lever setup, and what we fabric cobbled for them, and we'll then put that all in place and then see what. So just note to self that we've still got to do this hydraulic pump and the hydraulic line, which is tucked in behind there. I don't know how I'm going to get on recording that, but I might just have a yarn. So this is the gear lever assembly here. We're not sure if we put this together right or not, because that bolt goes there. No, so I may have to take this pin out here and spin it around complete 180, maybe. I think that all needs to go on like that. But anyways, so I made up these little gizmos. So this is the original, and this is what I made. Now the difference to this is, that's the lock nut off one of these. The difference to these is they have an Allen key head in there. These don't have anything. So we're going to put a little slit in that, and then I'll get back to you, and then we'll set you up in the tractor and we'll put the gear lever on, and then hope for the best that it all works. So I know it's not perfect in any means, and that I'm just a hillbilly, so don't judge me. But we have this on, so I put the bolts in here. I had to do the bit down there because I couldn't get the phone set up into a way where you could see, but the grub screws seem to work. So this is your first and low range, first, second, third, and fourth, and that was never a problem. The problem is that this was stuck in here. I could not get this to go forward, backwards, for love or money. Now I can go into first, low range, forward, low range, reverse, low range, then you go down and forward, and you go high range, and you have nothing going back that way. But it seems to be functioning. So we're going to have it back on the road again. So I'm going to call it quits for the night, and we'll get back to this tomorrow. We will put all this back together, put split pin in here. There is one pin that's absolutely shot down there. I can't get it to come right through. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Not because my thing, that one right there, that little silver dibble there. I've got to hold the light just slightly away. It's bent, so I could do with another pin. Ideally, I would like to put some shims in here, because like this wibbles, so I'd like to make a shim to go up in here. I did take this off and weld it and get it as snug as I thought I could, and I didn't think it was much different, but I suppose that's not too bad. But it would be nice when you put it up into first, say if you got your revs on and you go into first, you normally knock the lever, so it'd be nice to be able to put it into first and still have that bit of throttle, because you can do full throttle once it's in. It's just while you're putting it in place, because you're sort of lifting it up and you don't want to knock it. So it'd just be nice to have it just a little bit snugger, but I don't know if I will sort it out. But yeah, there we just got this hose to fit back on, this hydraulic hose, which is a bit of a bugger, but I got the filter sitting there for it. This one here, it literally runs to that priority valve there, so it must be something to do with the services on the back. And then once we've done that, it's a case of just putting all the flooring back in and putting it in. But before we put all the bodywork in, once we get the steering wheel on and all the hydraulics connected, we'll fire her up and make sure she works. Or am I that confident that I know it's going to work? In all fairness, if it doesn't work, it means it's more of an internal in the gearbox, and it does mean that I'm not going to be able to fix it. So I've got another gearbox, a good gearbox. It's on the West Island, which a mate of mine will said I could have. Well, he said I could have. It cost me something, but anyway. So, but yeah. So what we might do afterwards is we'll sort that out, and then we'll see if we can sort out this back window, because the hinge is all let go here. So we're gonna just put a piece of ply in there and do it like that. It's only a roughy tufty tractor. Well, I say a roughy tufty tractor. It's nice. I do like it. She's a beast of a tractor, really. Anyways, also plans of moving to the farm may have changed dramatically, so we will have to wait and see. But anyways, we will catch you on the next one. Catch you in the morning. Sort of being naughty. I started this morning and I may have forgot to put the camera on. I'm so excited to get it going, maybe. But anyway, so the gear lever in here where the pin goes through, we put a washer between that and the thing, so now it's nice and... Let's move that out the way so you don't get dazzled. So it's not as much play in it now. Like, you can go up there, you can sort of do things. I can adjust this a little bit more because the throttle doesn't catch till about there. So I could adjust the throttle rod and then bring that spring back and then do the throttle. But that's a job for another day. I only need about 1900 RPM anyway. It's what I normally run her at if I'm pulling a heavy load up a hill, and that's not for very long, and I've got the foot throttle if I need it, and worst case scenario that will get me up a hill. For rotivating, what do we run her at? I think it's about 1700, 1800, something like that. Depends what the ground's like. I don't really run it by the RPM of what it needs to be. I run it on whether it's working or not. Need to get a knob for there for the fan, wipers and all that work. Yeah, just really needs another cab so I can take this one off. Now, if anyone's got a good Q cab, ideally if it's complete, even better. So we got all the flooring back in, we got all that in, and we have the hydraulic filter on. When we start this up, we're going to make sure we haven't knocked any of those levers. And let her circulate and see if she draws up the fluid. If not, we'll have to pop the filter off, pour a load of oil in there, and then quickly whack it back on again. And the reason why I know this is I must have bumped one of those levers when I done it this gearbox last time, and I drove off. I got about 2 minutes in, and there was more steam, smoke coming off this pump than anything, and I really thought. But you know what? It still works. So, shocking surprise. We're also going to sort out that door catch up there. I'm not really sure how we're going to sort it out, but we'll think of something. Yeah, and then it's on to the window. Now we could fire this up and try it once we get it all sorted, and we might just do that, but I'm not really too worried, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I would like to get the window sorted, so if it does work, I can then hopefully get it out and about. So we'll have to progress from there. I've got to get new filters for the cab filters as well. I cleaned the ones that's in it. We're taking these lights off. We're going to straighten that number plate bracket up there. We're going to take these lights off, and we're going to put one work light on one side, and we're hoping to put a amber light on the other side. Fit this on. This is the filler for a 7610, 5610. Because this filler down here is an absolute pain in the backside. Let me put the light on. That filler in there, that red one, that's a pain in the backside. So I'd like to put this on in here, and I think I can get away with it. Apart from it's a bit short. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut this up, this one. Don't want to, but we're going to. And we're going to see if we can get a piece of pipe and extend it by about 1.5 inches. We don't need this. I don't know what part that plays. So we're doing away with that. And then that way I'm hoping that, because this all undoes, I'm hoping that once we put that in, we'll then be able to just sit this in the same place. Now the downside to this is we are going to raise this up. So yeah, don't know yet. We will have to look into it. I also want to connect the earth up to here. We'd like to get the proper brackets for the water bottle and put back in where it probably should be. This one's not actually in too bad a nick. It is rusty and past being used. We've got to put another handbrake cable on. I want to put another assistor ram on, and I had to put a Jubilee clip around that because the bracket all broke up. So we'd like to make another bracket for the brakes. We've also got to try and fix one of these holes up here, and then get a tube coming down and tidied up and put into place. Got to change a PTO seal, and we also need to fix all this because this has got a lot of play in it. I just connected the battery and we're ready to see if it moves. So we'll get you set up somewhere and then we will see if she starts and go from there, I guess. If I can see. Right. We're not moving her far, we just want to see if she goes forwards and see if she goes backwards. So as long as she moves an inch, and we need to make sure we get oil up in that bit. So. Oh, right light. I haven't really cleaned the cab out, so we're doing this on the off chance that it's going to work. You don't have to worry. Contact, as Diesel Creek would say. Hey, that's no heat either. So we've got it now up and running. My SD card is full on my phone, so I need to get another one. That didn't get warm because my SD card was full on my phone and it decided to go bloop. Still smoky in here, but never mind. I just adjusted the red, so she revved at around 8. She revs around now 850-ish. She always idled a little bit low and always started doing that hunting malarkey. We are going to put an isolator on in here for her. But yeah, she runs, she's working, and that's really all there is to it. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that, and the next job is to finish tinkering around with the cab, putting all the bits in the cab, I've got to try and sort out this hinge on this door because it's a bit loose, and then we're on to the back window. So I'll probably do a video of once it's all done, because I ain't got much memory. So, but thanks for watching anyway. Don't forget to subscribe, and I lifted up the arms for you so you can just see how bad they really are. Yeah, hopefully get new seals and all that made for that. So anyways, we'll catch you in the next one. Have fun. Or we'll catch us when we get the window done. That'll be